go. It's time for another episode of Student of the Gun Radio. I am your host, Professor Paul Markle. With me, joining me in the illustrious glass case of emotion studios is Jared. He's on the other side of the board there, working all the knobs and levers and all that kind of good stuff. Say hello, Jared.
Hello, Jared.
All right, you're all done now. All right, welcome to Thursday's edition of Student of the Gun Radio. Now, was it last week Thursday that we had Julie on? It was.
I believe, yeah, it was last week Thursday.
All right, you guys are probably thinking they've got a master plan that every Thursday, we're kind of spoiling them because we got 2 Thursdays in a row with special guests. And so what's going to happen is they're going to get used to it and they're going to think, oh, well, every Thursday they're going to give me a special guest. We're not doing that on purpose, actually. It just kind of worked out that way. We were actually going to have Julie on like early in the week, but the stars didn't align and we couldn't get her until Thursday. But we've got another special guest for you guys, and I'm excited to introduce him. Actually, he is a friend of mine, and he is very gracious because I sent him a text and I said, hey, could you chat? And he said, well, hang on a sec, let me get back with you. And so we've got him. Now, he is an actor, he's a comedian, he's a gun guy, he is a cigar lover, but most importantly, he is a tequila aficionado. And if you want to know about good tequila, this is the guy to talk to. The kind that doesn't leave you with a hangover. Isn't that right, Mark?
That's absolutely correct. You could probably catch my article in the next issue of Recoil magazine.
Oh, really? Well, ladies and gentlemen, It's Mark Christopher Lawrence. You've seen him on My Name is Earl. You've seen him on Chuck. You've seen him. I got one for you guys. We're going to dig back in the groove yard of forgotten favorites. I was sitting there on Netflix watching Terminator 2, and they get to he knows where I'm going. I'm watching Terminator 2, and I hadn't watched it for years, probably 10, maybe even 15 years. So I'm watching Terminator 2, and it gets to the asylum scene where they got Sarah Connor locked up, and she's trying to escape. And two orderlies come walking out, and I'm like, I know one of those orderlies there. And I said, Mark, you never told me you were in Terminator. How cool is that?
Yeah. Back when I was young and pretty.
Not many people can say that they've been thrown through the window by the Terminator.
Put that on my resume like that.
That's right. Yeah. What have you done? Well, I was Schwarzenegger threw me through a window once. All right, you're hired. That is awesome. You could take a punch. No, but Mark was just telling us off air before we came on that he's actually going to be on another show, and it's kind of centered around guns. Mark, I'll just turn it over to you, and you tell the folks what this show is all about and where they can watch it.
Well, first of all, it's called Cocked, Cocked. It's on Amazon. January 15th, Amazon will start streaming the pilot. And, as many people as can, go ahead and watch it, because I think that'll help them decide to pick it up or not. I think they shot about 10 pilots, and ours is really funny. Brian Dennehy, Jason Lee, Sam Trammell, really funny show. I think people get a kick out of it.
So you said it's centered around a gun shop or a gun manufacturer or a gun maker?
Yeah, Brian Dennehy plays the father of Jason Lee, and he's been out of the picture. And they have this gun manufacturing shop, and he comes back into the picture, and all the sort of action sort of centers around that volatile relationship.
Okay.
And then there's lots of antics in the shop,
Well, does Brian Dennehy get mad and throw wrenches across the shop like in American Chopper? He comes in and he slams the door, and they're like, and I can always see the American Chopper. They're doing the production. They're like, hey, you're pretty calm today. Why don't you do us a favor, throw a wrench? But I'm not mad. Just throw a wrench. Okay, he threw a wrench one time, and then they filmed that, and they're like, oh, we're going to drop that in every other episode. Slam the door.
Well, that show got hard to watch after a while. It's like that relationship was really.
It's like, are they going to shoot each other?
Or really an unhealthy relationship, father and son relationship.
Oh, I know, man. And, I really enjoyed it when it, we kind of gone off track here, but I really enjoyed it in the beginning because they had a cool formula. They had an idea, a concept, and then we're going to do that, and then 60 minutes later we're going to see it. We're going to go from raw parts to paint to chrome to everything, and everything comes together. And so, of course, as a viewer, you're like, man, I can't wait to see what the fire engine, bike's going to look like, or the chopper bike, or the whatever. But yeah, you're right. Like towards the end, it's like, dude, all these. There's no possible way you could have a functioning business when the two leads are constantly at each other and throwing wrenches and slamming doors and. Oh, now. You and I met, and some of our students of the gun, they probably know this. The guys who watch the TV show obviously know that you and I met a few years ago at the Bianchi Cup. It was the Bianchi Cup 2012, and that you came as a celebrity shooter and you shot the Colt Speed Challenge. And then since then, you've actually started shooting the entire thing. Yeah.
I shot the entire thing last year for the first time, and really had a lot of fun. So I think I'm going to shoot it again this year.
Well. What I think you should do, Mark, and this is just me, and I'm not putting you on the spot, even though we're recording this for everyone to hear, but get your manager to book you down here on the Gulf Coast. Get him to book you somewhere, Biloxi, Mobile, New Orleans, something like that, because all of those places are within an hour of my range. And
oh, really?
Yeah. You come down, you do your thing, man. You do your funny ha-ha stuff, and then we'll get out to the range, and I'll give you some workups, and we'll get out there and we'll work out before the Bianchi Cup. We'll have you shooting tight. And
nice.
You think I'm joking, but actually I'm not joking. And besides
that... I actually, we've been trying to get booked around different parts of the country. It's been really difficult. I don't know what it is. It's like I'll see like a comic who's opened for me, headlining somewhere, and I'll say, well, let's try to go get into this club, and then it's like they don't want to pay me what I get, and they don't want to fly me. And it's like so it's kind of hard to work that way.
Yeah, well, and especially when you're on West Coast and we're on Gulf Coast, but that would be, dude, if you could do that, that would be great. And, it's a working fun trip. That's what you do is you figure out how am I going to have fun, but I'm going to get paid to do it. That's the trick, is it not, my friend?
Right. That'd be great. Can I get paid to do what I do?
And the cool thing down here in Free America is they let you smoke cigars in the casinos.
Mm.
Yeah. We live like free people down here, man. We don't have the anti-smoking Nazis coming out with sticks to beat us, But you come down, have a cigar. We'll do some shooting, do some yucks. Maybe you can you talk to me about some tequila. You can school me the proper way. Now, speaking of which, let's go back to the Recoil magazine. Our mutual friend Ian tagged you to do an article.
Yeah, I wrote an article for Recoil, and it'll be in the next issue. I think that issue comes out this month sometime. I think he's going to bring some copies to SHOT Show.
Ah, very cool.
Are you going to be at SHOT Show?
I will be there unless like a gig comes up all of a sudden.
Cool.
But I'll be there. I'll be hanging out with Irv from Barstow Barrels.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. We met Irv at this year's.
Yeah.
Yeah, this year's Bianchi Cup. Oh, very cool. That's neat relationships. Now, one of the things that we talked about, or we just hit on real briefly when we interviewed you for the TV show, was the fact that you co-hosted Amazing America with Sarah Palin, and that was on the Sportsman's Channel, was it not?
Yes, absolutely, Sportsman's Channel.
Okay. Now, do me a favor. Tell me a little bit about that experience. Some of our listeners who may not have caught it or seen it, or maybe are looking for it in reruns or whatever, tell us about your experience working on that show.
First of all, it's a reality show. It has nothing to do with politics. It's called Amazing America. It's about some amazing people all over this country. Sarah Palin was the studio host. There were 3 field host. I was one of the field hosts, and it was a lot of fun to shoot because I did some things in that show that I don't know that I would have ever had the opportunity to do. Like I went to our first stop was Nashville, and that first segment for me was a segment called Faster Pastors, and there were these pastors who got together on Sundays and drove race cars.
Uh-huh.
At a little speedway outside of Nashville. And so I drove a race car. When would I ever get a chance to do that?
Getting paid to drive a race car. Now, you shot a big gun. In the trailer, you were shooting a 50, is that correct?
Yeah, that was at in Hardin, Illinois, at Jonah White's house. Jonah is the guy who created Billy Bob Teeth.
Though I'm not familiar.
You gotta Google it and look that up. It's like these fake teeth.
Oh, the Billy Bob teeth. Oh,
yeah,
okay, all right, I got you. Those goofy things that you see at the. I got you. Oh, yeah. If you type in the word Billy B-O, it completes it. Teeth.
That's funny.
Yes, and and he's really, really a down to earth, really a great guy. He went from college, from the time he was 14, thinking that he was going to go pro in football, and didn't have a plan B. Went home and basically moved into a cave out in back of his parents' house, and spent a year living in that cave. And while he was in that cave, he planned what he was going to do. He said, "Well, I need a product and I need to, make it cheaply and be able to start it here in our home." And within a year, he had sold 1.3 million worth.
Oh, jeez.
See, that goes back to what we talked about last. I think it was yesterday's episode. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great.
That is correct. Look at how that came around.
Absolutely.
You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. A little bit of wow. Minds are exploding.
Yeah,
I don't even remember where I
right
saw
there.
that quote, and I don't know who said it, but I didn't make that up. Just so everybody knows.
You didn't make that up, Jared?
No.
Oh, now I'm disappointed. So he had a 50 cal, and they allowed that in Illinois. Wow.
In the town that he lives in, there's 18 people, and but we're shooting on his property. And I think you saw we were on a deck shooting across this lake, which is in his backyard. He's got water buffalo out there.
Now, you didn't shoot water buffalo with a 50, did you?
No.
That's
He had a
funny.
boulder, and it was just a lot of fun. I mean, the guy's house is a log cabin that he actually.
That is cool. All right, tell us something else that you did while you're on that road trip for the show.
We went to. I think the most fascinating thing for me was we went to visit a guy named Dennis. I can't remember his last name, but his nickname is Air. He's a taxidermist, and the work that he does. Generally you'll go and you'll see a piece of taxidermy, a critter that's taxidermied, and it looks like, okay, yeah, that's a critter. It doesn't look real. His stuff looks alive. They call him Air because all of his pieces are in some form of motion, and they're leaping off the ground or something. He had this one piece that was a caribou that these two lions were attacking. He was building that when we were there. And there was one coming from behind the caribou and one in front that looked like the caribou was headbutting, and it all sort of hung together on one leg of the caribou. It all balanced off of that, and it just looked like art in motion. In fact, his shop is called Artistry and Wildlife.
Oh, that is very cool.
It's really amazing work. It's like I went in there and was really amazed by it, because some of the stuff that you normally see, it's like, okay, somebody put some clay on a form and slap some skin on this thing, and yeah, it is what it is. But his stuff looks alive.
I remember you telling me about that at the Bianchi Cup. You were talking about how cool the stuff looked.
Oh
yeah, I was blown away by it.
Yeah, it's artistryofwildlife.com, and I actually looked it up while we were talking. And he's up in Michigan. And
where is he?
It says Elk Street, Sandusky, Michigan.
Yeah, Sandusky.
Yeah. Well, very cool. Very cool. Well, Mark, we really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day. I know you're a working actor, and for those of you who don't know what that means Mark doesn't just get to sit around with Leonardo and sip champagne all day. He's actually got to hustle himself. He's got to work. Or do you? Maybe you do sit around with Leonardo and sip champagne all day. Is that what your life consists of?
From your mouth to God's ears.
Well, people think because you've been on TV that you're set for life,
Tony
man.
Todd, the actor who played Candyman.
Oh, really?
In the horror film.
And the horror films from the 90s.
We worked on a little independent film yesterday, and it's called Cold Descent. A young actor, a young director. It's his project, and it's really a fascinating script. I can't really talk about it too much because they're just in early production. We started production. I guess they started this week. Yesterday was my only day, but it was a lot of fun.
I got to tell you, I was kind of disappointed. I watched the entire season of California, or the entire series of Californication on Netflix, and I didn't see you in that. Not one.
Yeah, I was bummed I wasn't in it too.
It's getting to the point now when I watch a series, I'm looking for it. I'm like, all right, there's hundreds of people in this series. Surely Mark's going to pop up soon. And that's, I guess that's my I can't believe that I'm the only one in America that does that now. That gets on to uses Netflix to consume shows like one after the other.
That's what most of my friends do. They wait until the next year after it's already aired on TV. They just wait till they can watch it one after the other. It's cool. Now, we've got a question for you from one of our fans on Facebook, and he wants to know what your favorite gun is.
Ooh, look at that, a gun question.
What my favorite gun? Wow, yeah, I would think it would have to be my Glock 34 speed gun. On any given day, it's a different gun.
Mm-hmm.
Today I would have to say it's my Glock 34.
Your Glock 34. I got you. See, what you need to do
is
pack
because it's pretty.
Because it's pretty.
You need to pack that Glock 34 up with all your magazines and stuff and come down here to Biloxi, Mississippi to hang out with your buddy Paul. That's what you do.
That's what I need to do. I need to make that happen this year.
Make that happen this year, man. You can stay at the Beau Rivage, the jewel of the Gulf Coast. You can stay at the Hard Rock Casino, the IP. We're modern down here. We have hotels and everything. We even wear shoes sometimes.
Yeah, I've been in Biloxi a couple of times.
All right, well, you know then. You know. Well, Mark, we truly appreciate you spending some time with us today. We're spoiling our audience. Like we said, this is 2 Thursdays in a row. Well, you know Julie G. You know Julie Golub.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
we had her on.
I shot a segment of the show at her house.
Well, there you go. Now, was it the house up in Montana before she moved?
Yeah, the one up in Montana before she moved. Yeah, it was at the end of March last year. And at the end of March, it was 5 below the day that we shot, and we're shooting on her outdoor range for about 6 hours.
Oh!
And the day we left, it was 12 below.
Oh,
wow.
Well, yeah, I like Montana, and we've spent up time up there in like June and July, and I said, how do people not live here? And someone said, well, because winter starts it starts on Labor Day and doesn't end until Easter. I'm like, okay. Now I understand why more people don't live up here. It's beautiful in July. That's the time to go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't.
Apparently, I was there at the wrong time.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, but that's really cool. I didn't even put that together. But it's kind of like we're playing the 6 degrees of separation game here on Student of the Gun Radio. Our challenge next time.
You know what we have to do to make this complete now?
What's that?
We have to get Mark and Julie at the same time on.
No,
I'm just kidding.
What we need to do is we need to get next week somebody who's worked with Julie and Mark.
There you go.
Or Kevin Bacon. And if we do that, we'll have the trifecta. All right, Mark, we're going to let you go, and we're going to continue on with some of our gun-related stories. But thank you very much for joining us for this week as our special guest on Student of the Gun Radio.
Anytime, Paul. Anytime. If you need me, just you know how to reach me.
Okay.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, special thanks to our buddy Mark Christopher Lawrence. We know that he is a busy guy, and literally, no kidding, we were recording the show. In between takes, I actually sent him a text message. I said, "Hey, man," I said, "Can you talk?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, what's up?" I said, "I'm going to have Jared call you, and we're going to record radio. How's that sound?" So that, bam, that just happened.
And remember what he talked about when he first started talking was the show Cocked. It's going to be on Amazon, and it's a pilot episode. He needs you to go watch it so that he gets the most views, and they figure out that that's going to be the most successful show, and they're going to pick his pilot. So on January 15th, 2015, I want you to, on Amazon Prime, you need to watch Cocked.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at this right now. There's a Deadline Hollywood. Amazon orders dramedy. That's a drama comedy. Oh, man, does Hollywood like combining words? Ugh. But pilot Cocked. Amazon Studios is releasing its current crop of 10 pilots today. The company is already working on yada yada yada. Now here's the thing that I want to make sure that I'm hip to, Jared, and you're a hip guy. Do they have to have Amazon Fire or Amazon Premium?
Amazon Prime. It's
Amazon Prime.
Yeah, Amazon Prime.
Okay.
And majority of smart TVs nowadays have that. Like, you subscribe, and it's the little Prime thing where you get the free 2-day shipping and you get the free access to all their audio files. It's like and then you get the free access to it's not free. You pay $89 a year. You get the audio, the video, the free shipping, and all that stuff.
Okay.
And then you can access it from your TVs or mobile devices because they have an app.
Okay, so if you have Amazon Prime, you know what we're doing? We're selling stuff for Prime now. But if you have Amazon Prime, you can watch it on January 15th. How cool is that?
And if you don't have Amazon Prime, go get it so you can watch it.
All right. Well, very cool. And thank you again to our good friend Mark Christopher Lawrence. He is a funny guy. He's a good guy to spend some time with. We shared cigars and adult beverages after a day at the range at Bianchi Cup, and that's how you know when someone is a good guy. If you can sit down and share a cigar and an adult beverage. He sang for us
and played the kazoo.
Oh, yeah, kazoos were broken out, and it was an interesting time poolside there. So, but we're hoping to get him down here in free America because he is a working actor. He has to live in the People's Republic of California because, quite frankly, if you're a working actor, you got to be able to get to the set, and that's where the set is, or at least the majority of the sets. Are right there in the heart of the People's Republic. But let's go ahead and jump into our gun-related stories. And this story comes to us from the People's Republic of New Jersey, the glorious People's Republic of New Jersey. I almost missed out on that part. And Jared, do you have an update theme for us for the People's Republic of New Jersey, a slave state update theme?
Yeah, let me pull it up real quick.
I like to teach you all the rules. I get to see them set in stone. I like it when you chain me to the bed, but then you see me on the show.
All right, that is our slave state update theme, Control by Puddle of Mud. And this story comes to us from NJ.com. NJ.com, would that be People's Republic of New Jersey? Why, it sure would. The title of the story is Tighter Rules for NJ Gun Dealers Manufacturers proposed by Christie administration. Tighter rules. What does that mean? Okay, this is Dateline, January 7th, 2015, Trenton. The Christie administration has proposed tighter security requirements for gun retailers, wholesalers, and manufacturers and their employees in response to several thefts and lapses in oversight during the past decade that led to at least one death. Okay, so let me see. In the last decade, and that's 10 years for those of you that went to public schools, there have had lapses that have resulted in one death. So let's keep that in mind as we go on. The rules proposed last month by the state police come as Governor Christie considers a possible run for the White House in 2016. A successful campaign would require him to do well in rural, gun-loving states, including Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina, which all hold early presidential caucuses or primaries. Last month, Christie said in a television interview that the extensive gun laws in New Jersey, a majority Democratic state, might be a little too strict. Ooh, he might be, huh? Okay. Because in New Jersey, a BB gun is considered a firearm. The new rules would require dealers to immediately notify state and local police if their security systems fail. Well, what is the definition of a security system? So if they have the, give me the name of a security, Brinks or ECS or ESS or what? So if their alarm company experiences a problem, then they have to call the state police and tell them? I don't know. That's what it says right here. It says the rules will require dealers to immediately notify state and local police if their security systems fail. If a system cannot be fixed within 24 hours, the dealer may move the guns to another licensed location with approval of the state police. The proposal would require no guns or ammunition be stored at a location other than the licensed premises without permission from the state police. Also, dealers would have to report lost or stolen guns within 24 hours, down from the current 48. Other changes include requiring dealers and manufacturers to make gun records available for inspection to state police, and prohibiting anyone on a terror watch list from being issued a permit to purchase a handgun or a firearms identification card. Okay. The new rules, published December 15th in the New Jersey Register, are intended to hold the state's approximately 377 licensed retail and registered wholesale dealers and manufacturers more, this is a quote from the state, more accountable for their employees and inventory of firearms. And before I go on, let me give you a quote from the state police. It just says it's a quote from the state police, not a specific person. Quote, in the past 10 years, there have been numerous incidents of theft, some resulting in catastrophic consequences, end quote, the state police wrote in a rule proposal. All right. Well, let me tell you what I think about this, folks. And you're like, oh, I know what you think about it, Paul. You think it's crap. Well, now hang on. I may think it's crap, but why do I think that? And thinking students of the gun should know that. You're like, well, what does it do here? What it does, what this rule change does, or upgrade in the rules, is it puts the responsibility or the onus or the blame for the theft, doesn't it not put that on the shoulder of the victim? So here we have the victim of a crime. You have a gun shop or a gun store or a manufacturer or a wholesaler or whatever, and they are the victim of a crime, of a theft. So now, instead of putting them in the category where they have been victimized, if they don't follow the approved state policy, now they become the de facto criminal. And it says, here we go, and this is, in the past 10 years, there have been numerous incidents of thefts, some resulting in catastrophic consequences, the state police wrote. So it's now the responsibility and the problem. It's the responsibility of licensed retailers, manufacturers, and wholesalers. It's their responsibility to solve the crime problem in the glorious People's Republic of New Jersey. So just in that quote right there, I don't understand how tightening the reporting does. Now, Jared, riddle me this. If you report a stolen gun in 24 hours or a missing gun or whatever, if you report that in 24 hours instead of 48 hours, does that mean that the gun is no longer stolen?
I would assume that it would still be stolen.
Does that mean that the stolen gun can now no longer be used as a tool in the commission of a crime?
No, it can definitely still be used in the commission of a crime.
Well, how does the reporting process minimize or reduce the crime?
It allows the police to find the suspect quicker after the fact.
Do they honestly believe? And here, this is the de facto guilt that is written into here. The de facto guilt is if these people weren't selling these evil, dangerous instruments, we wouldn't need these rules. If they would just go out of business, close their doors, move away, find a reasonable way or a better way to make a living, then we wouldn't need these rules. For instance, let me see, what does it say here? That the new rules require that dealers immediately notify state or local police if their security systems fail. We're not talking about safes. I'm assuming they're not talking about gun safes and hard locks and stuff. I'm assuming they're talking about electronic security. So I just couldn't think of off the top of my head who one of the leading alarm system companies is, but whatever. Did you pull one up for me? You're supposed to think for me. Well,
ACT?
ADT?
ADT, that's it.
There you go. So there we go. So your ADT system goes down for whatever reason, or has a glitch or something, and you say, well, but yeah, I have a walk-in. My shop is equipped with a walk-in safe, and we put the guns in there, and it has a big, thick iron door, and I have a moat with alligators in it, and we have pit bulls. We have
pepper spray bombs.
We have angry pit bulls that we chain to the gun safe every night. Yeah, but your ADT system is down. Now, I know that you guys are you're not going to believe this, but there are times when electronic monitoring systems go down and the customer doesn't know about it. Did you know that, Jared?
No, I thought the customer always knew.
You mean ADT calls you like at 3 o'clock in the morning and says, hey, we had a glitch in the system. It was down for 15 minutes, but now it's back up, so everything's cool.
I'm going to go ahead and assume that they probably don't want you to know that.
I'm going to guess they don't. We had actually a situation here locally where a gun shop was broken into by someone who rammed a truck through the doors. He rammed, and they had rolling steel doors. This guy rammed a truck through the door and broke the glass case and grabbed some handguns and got away with like a dozen handguns or something. They caught him and they found the guns, but the monitoring system was not working. And no kidding. Now the video was working, but for whatever reason the alarm didn't go off when he smashed the freaking rolling steel door. And I thought, how angry would you be with your alarm company? And they're like, oh, we didn't realize that. So, maybe this is valid. Now, so you're like, well, that's a good thing that they do that. But then it says that would also require that no guns or ammunition be stored at a location other than licensed premises without permission from the state police. So if you're a gun manufacturer, dealer, wholesaler, and you want to move guns from one place to another to store them for security or whatever, you first need to get permission from the state police to do that. Because why? Well, because your property is not really your property. Your property is only your property at the behest of the government. Now, here's a big one. Other changes would include requiring dealers and manufacturers to make gun records available for inspection to state police. Now, hang on a sec, Jared. The Form 4473, ATF Form 4473, the lawful transfer of a firearm form, has all those questions on it. Are you a this? Are you a that? Are you Caucasian? The racist profiling form that the ATF, what? Racist profiling? Yeah. The federal government forces you to racially profile yourself when you legally transfer a gun from a dealer to you. You know that, right? You can't do it. If you tried to do that, there'd be Department of Justice lawyers right square up your rectum, because you cannot ask people whether or not they're Latino, whether they're Asian, whether they're African American, whatever. But the feds can. So when you fill out the Form 4473, what do they tell us? They've told us that all that is for is to make sure that the dealer does their part in lawfully transferring the gun to you. It's not for what, Jared?
Registration.
It's not so they can track gun ownership. It's not for registration, not for stand-on. That's right. They tell us this all the time. Oh, you paranoid aluminum or tinfoil hat wearing gun owners! You just think that the government's going to create lists of gun owners so that they can confiscate them when you die or when you're alive or when they've decided that you're mentally incompetent and when you have insomnia. Yeah, kind of like all of those things are happening right now. And in New Jersey, Governor Christie thinks that it's cool to require that all dealers, and it says make them available for inspection to the state police. Hey, folks, there was a lot of countries in the not in the United States, in the world, I'm sorry, a lot of countries in the world that had and continue to have state police. The Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, also known as the USSR, had a really nice state police organization. They had the Committee for State Security. A country formerly known as East Germany had a state police. As a matter of fact, if you look at the uniforms of the state police in New Jersey, they kind of bear a striking resemblance to those of the former East Germany. But I digress. So what do you think? All of you people who live on the East Coast, all of you people who live in the glorious People's Republic of New Jersey, who write me letters telling me, oh, you don't understand. I mean, yeah, I know I have to get a permission slip to buy a gun, and that BB guns are firearms, and that the state can come to my house and harass me because my neighbor doesn't like a Facebook picture. Remember the Facebook post, and the neighbors called the police, and the police went to the house because of child endangerment because he bought his kid a .22 rifle? Yeah, that happened in New Jersey.
So speaking of, are you done with that thought process?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Speaking of state police uniforms, I was driving to the shop the other day from home, and I was driving down the little road there, and you know how they have construction on the way?
Yeah.
I was driving down the road, and I saw a dude on the side of the road with a blue helmet on, and I was like, I didn't know what to think.
Was it a powder blue helmet?
Oh, I don't know. I just saw a blue helmet, and then as I got closer, I realized that it was a construction worker, but I definitely thought it was somebody else.
A blue hard hat?
Yeah, I was like, yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in America that
100 points, dink.
That are sitting in their house right now just waiting for people with powder blue helmets to start walking down the street. They'll probably go to New Jersey first because they're
New York, New Jersey,
yeah,
California.
New York, New
definitely
Jersey.
New York, because that's where headquarters is.
Oh yeah, they can just walk out of the building, and I wonder if they still have that listing. What was the listing for UN gun? Was it gun control enforcer or gun control enforcement or firearms monitoring?
I don't remember what it was.
Yeah. Basically, it was a UN job where the job description was
it was like confiscation and something
firearms
else.
confiscation and regulation or something like that. But there you go. with your tinfoil hat again, thinking that things like that actually exist.
I just saw a blue helmet.
Just because
I've never seen a construction worker with a blue helmet
just
on.
because the UN has a job listing and the job description is firearms confiscation.
And the
gun
post is in
control.
New York.
And the where you go to apply for that job is New York. Just because that exists doesn't mean that's what they want to do. Just because they have a giant statue of a revolver, of a python with the barrel twisted in a knot, just because that doesn't mean
Close to the Statue of Liberty.
And why do we allow that again? Well, yeah, we don't allow that, but the slave masters in New York don't have a problem with it. Now, one thing I wanted to talk to you guys about that they said, well, prohibiting anyone on a terror watch list from being issued a permit to purchase a handgun, because apparently in New Jersey you need to get permission from the state to buy a gun, or a firearms identification card. See, and the truth is, Jared, it doesn't really matter that the state police have to be given access to these, because you can't legally buy or own a gun in New Jersey until you get a permission slip from the government anyway. So, but how is that whole watch list thing working out? Does anybody remember a little thing about the terrorist watch list where we had an 8-year-old kid on the no-fly list, on the TSA's no-fly list? Oh, come on, Paul. That's not true. Yeah, actually it was true. And the New York Times interviewed the kid and his parents. And an 8-year-old child could not get on a plane because the TSA had put him on the no-fly list. Well, that's just one instance. Really? Is that just one instance? I've got a story right here in front of me from the nationaljournal.com. And it's not a recent story. It's about, I don't know how old the story is here. I'm looking for the date. But, it's August 2014. So it's about 4 or 5 months old now. But it says, no-fly list has grown tenfold since Obama took office. Now, hang on. Weren't we told that it was George Bush that was violating the Constitution? It was George Bush that was abusing the power that was granted him by the Patriot Act and all that jazz. It says, President Obama has presided over a massive increase in the size and scope of the country's no-fly list, which bars individuals suspected of having terrorist ties from flying on airlines, to include little 8-year-old boys. 47,000 people were placed on the no-fly list in 2013, marking an all-time high that dwarfs the amount ever included during George W. Bush's presidency, according to the analysis of the newly released classified documents on Tuesday by The Intercept. So I guess the question that I could ask to you as citizens of the United States of America is, do you feel safer today than you were 10 years ago? And if not, why not? And if we have 47,000 people on the Homeland Security, TSA, whatever, on their watch list, do we legitimately have 47,000 active terrorists in the United States? Or are there people on the list that maybe shouldn't be there? And how often do they scrub this list? Or do you get on a government list and just stay there indefinitely? I don't know. Questions for you to answer yourself. I'm Paul Markle. I'm the host of Student of the Gun Radio. I can't answer those for you. You're going to have to answer them for yourselves. But it is our job to inform you. It is our job to let you know that that stuff is out there. Now, the clock on the wall says it's just about time for me to close my mouth, and which is what I'm going to do. And if you are a regular listener, a standard listener, you listen to iTunes and so forth, we will pick back up with you next Monday. Now, if you are a grad program member, congratulations. Thank you very much. We love you. And you'll be able to listen to the bonus hour tomorrow. That is Friday, each and every Friday in the new year. So bonus listeners, stand by. The rest of you, we will talk to you next week. Don't forget, folks, you're a beginner once. You are a student for life.